Hey guys, Natalie here. Welcome back to the third section of this video. And in this part, we are going to be talking about how to correct people effectively or how to correct people politely. Now, before correcting people, you have to check your intentions. Why am I correcting this person? What do I hope to achieve by correcting this person? What is my intent? Now, I'm going to give you guys a few tips on how to correct people. Tip number one, if somebody does something to you, do not correct them in public. Like if you're correcting somebody, pull them to the side. Hey, do you have 1 minute? Hey, can I see you for a second? Pull them to the side and try to tell them, you did this to me, I really did not like it, I did not appreciate it, blah blah blah. And you pass your message with respect and in private. Point number two, you don't want to correct somebody when you're angry, because as Neo says, when you're mad, talking turns into screaming. When you're angry, you don't want to correct people, because you just shout and shout and shout and you've not passed the message you were trying to pass. You're just expressing anger and bitterness and the message doesn't really go through. So you want to be mindful of your mood before correcting somebody. How am I feeling right now? Am I mad? Wait till you calm down to be able to talk to people. How is the person feeling? Is he or she mad? Wait till they are calm before you can talk to them. So look at their mood. Know if you have to go and come back at some other time. So the third thing you want to do when you're correcting somebody is put it in a polite way. When you're correcting somebody, you don't want to sound like you're too judgmental or you're emasculating them or you're making them feel bad. Try to put it in a polite way. Not necessarily sugarcoating it, but at least putting it in a way which is worthy of respect. So that's another thing you want to be mindful of when you're correcting somebody. Put in a polite way. Try to make them see the wrong they have done rather than judging them. Try to make them see how they can improve on that particular aspect. Another thing you want to do when you're correcting people is separate the person from the mistake. You don't have to join the two together. Always learn to separate the person from the mistake. That way, after the problem is gone or after when you guys have solved your issue, you can still be able to see them as your sister or as your brother or as your friend. So you want to be able to separate the problem from the person. Even after it's gone, you can still be able to respect this person as my neighbor, as my friend, or as my whatever. So that's another great tip for you. Always learn to separate the person from the mistake. Another great tip you want to be mindful of when correcting somebody is the use of we instead of you. And this one is a little subjective. It doesn't apply to every circumstance. For example, we all leave and we go to church and we forgot to close the door of the house. When you come back from church and you meet the door open, don't just go, you forgot to close the door. Anybody could have closed it, so why didn't you close it? A better way of saying it would be like, we forgot to close the door, we were a little negligent, next time we have to be more careful because we left the door open, a thief could have walked in, anything could have gone wrong. So we should be more careful next time. Now that's a good way to pass a message. You're not sounding judgmental, you're actually taking part of the blame and it makes it more relatable. Again, there's this very beautiful technique in correcting people. It's called the sandwich principle. And what this consists of essentially is just saying something good about the person, then saying what you don't like about the person and following it by another compliment about that person. So that's a beautiful way to pass a complaint without the person feeling the pinch of it. A good example of this technique, guys, will be a kid who is complaining about his mom and he goes about it this way. He starts by saying, "Mom, you are an amazing mom, you are an incredible person, we appreciate everything you do for us. You know, I thank you for everything you do for my brothers, for my sisters, for me, for daddy, for my cousins, for whoever. I'm grateful. But mommy, lately you've become so judgmental, you've become so critical, everything we do, you just want to complain. And it makes us feel bad, it makes us uncomfortable. Haven't you noticed that lately when you come into the house, everybody runs into the room? It's because we don't want to sit beside you and you'll be complaining about everything we've done. So it makes us feel a little uncomfortable. Hey mommy, I miss those days we were all just one big happy family. I miss those days where we used to just sit and watch our favorite TV shows and share our opinions." Genius! He has passed his message. His mom knows she's an incredible mom and she knows exactly what he's complaining about, so she knows exactly what aspects she has to work on. And then he completed by saying how he missed those days where they used to hang out together. That's a good way of passing the message. That way she doesn't feel any pinch of it. She understands exactly what she's saying. And when he's gone back to his room, she'll be like, "Oh my God, this is what my kids feel about me. this is what I've actually been doing to my family. So you guys will see that's a beautiful way of passing a message, saying something good, following by the complaint, and then saying something good to conclude. That's actually a great technique. And now I'm going to give you guys a few examples of lines you can use when you're trying to correct somebody. You know how sometimes we gather as friends and we are discussing football or politics or whatever, and somebody says something that is wrong. You don't just have to wake up and shout, outrageous, lies, fake. No, that's a little dramatic. You want to be mature about the way you correct people, especially when you're in public. A good way of correcting this friend who has said something wrong will be like, I'm afraid that's not entirely true. Or I'm afraid you're mistaken about the total population of the world. Actually, you will find that there are 7.5 billion people in the world and not 6 billion like you suggested. So that's a good way of saying it, and you don't come across like the person who knows more than every other person. You've passed your message in a respectable way. Also, there are other lines you can use when you're trying to correct a friend. If somebody does something to you, you don't just have to start shouting, I don't like the way you talked to me yesterday, you are the worst friend on the universe, don't talk to me again, don't call my number again, I never want to see you. That's so dramatic. You don't want to do that. There are some better ways to which you can say it. For example, you can say, hey Natalie, I did not appreciate the way you spoke to me yesterday, or I really did not like the tone you used with me yesterday. That's a better way of saying it. Instead of sounding dramatic, that's a more mature way to put it. Again, if somebody does something which is not exactly in the manner in which you wanted them to do it, there's a better way you can let them know how to do it. You can come close to them and smile and say something like, don't you think it's more presentable to put the flowers on the table? Don't you think it's more appealing if you do it this way? Don't you think it's more palatable if we do it this way? And that way you've passed your message without sounding like a rude person, without sounding like a know-it-all. Like you've passed your message while respecting this person. And that's a great technique. So I guess we've come to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much in advance for liking and leaving me comments. Now, to those who have not subscribed, please click on the red subscribe button below. And when you subscribe, that's how you're letting us know you love us, you appreciate us. That's how you're letting us know you have a little bit of respect for all the time and energy that goes into making these videos. So I'm grateful. Thank you for all you do. See you in the next video. Bye.